The Xbox 360 was one of the best consoles out there. It was a huge success for Microsoft, and the PlayStation 3 barely beat it with some zombie game no one talks about. However, like all technology, it was getting old and we didn't want it anymore. Enter the Xbox One, even though it's actually the third one. This console has an interesting history behind it, and I'm not talking about the Dorito ads. I'm talking about the horrible marketing decisions that Microsoft made, which nearly killed their entire gaming division. And it was all because of this man, Don Matrick, president of Xbox. So let's go back and see how Microsoft nearly ruined their own console. "2013 was the dawn of next gen. Games like Tomb Raider, Red Dead Redemption, and GTA 5 were pushing last-gen consoles to their knees. So it was time to announce new consoles, and Microsoft would proudly take that first step with a live reveal of the Xbox One. Let's see how that went.
For the first time, you and your TV are going to have a relationship.
You what?
The very first thing they did was present the Kinect, that tacky motion gimmick that every company tried because the Wii was successful.
Bye bye Wii.
Despite no one asking, Microsoft still wanted to give the Kinect a second chance and slapped it on with the Xbox One. The last one was an optional purchase, but this one came in a package deal with the console. The worst part was that they didn't even show how fun the Kinect is. Just the normal functions like watching The Price is Right. They kept talking about this for 30 minutes. Meanwhile, people were asking,
Where the video games?
At least they promised a Halo TV show would be made, although we all know how that turned out. After more boring technical stuff, we end the presentation with the high note.
Pleased to announce that we'll be launching Xbox One around the world later this year.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Safe to say, this was the worst way to introduce us to the Xbox One. Instead of feeling like a show for gamers, it felt like they were having a PR meeting. A few months later, it was revealed that the Xbox One would require a constant internet connection. If you didn't do daily checks or have any connection whatsoever, it wouldn't work. Worst of all, games on a disc would have to be installed onto the drive, meaning that the disc would essentially be useless after one use. And any old used games you had couldn't be used again, effectively killing physical media, which I'm sure nowadays doesn't affect most of you, but 10 years ago, this was a big deal. It also didn't help that the creative director of Microsoft tweeted this. Just wow. Don't worry folks, he was fired. Shortly after, an article from The Wire revealed more details, including an interesting piece that said if a disc was used with a second account, the owner would have to pay a fee to install that disc, even if they already owned it. Of course, Microsoft tried to clear the air, but no matter how hard they tried, people were still confused. E3 rolled around, and after some technical difficulties,
we will start over.
it was finally time to announce how much the console would cost.
I'm excited to announce that Xbox One will launch this November in 21 markets around the world at $499 in the US and 499 euros in European markets.
Which for reference was $200 more than the Xbox 360. Then Sony's press conference came out.
We're equally focused on delivering what gamers want most, without imposing restrictions or devaluing their PS4 purchases. For instance, PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 gamers. When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever. PlayStation 4 disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play. If you enjoy playing single-player games offline, PS4 won't require you to check in online periodically. and it won't stop working if you haven't authenticated within 24 hours.
I'm very proud to announce that PlayStation 4 will be available at $399.
Well, if that wasn't the biggest clapback I've ever seen, then I don't know what is. Now, how would Microsoft respond to this? Let's hear what Don Matrick had to say.
It's a great lineup of games.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think people are going to love it, and then they're going to understand what we're trying to create and how it links games and entertainment, the functionality of the box, some of the advantages that you get of having a box that is designed to use an online state. So that, to me, is a future-proof choice, and I think people could have arguably gone the other way if we didn't do it, and fortunately we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360. That's your message if you don't,
Well,
people don't like it?
if you have zero access to the internet, that is an offline device.
At this point, it was very clear who was going to win this battle, and Microsoft finally caved in. Just 10 days after the E3 conference, Xbox did a 180 on online requirements and DMR policies. Thank God for cyberbullying. However, 12 days after that, Don Matrick left Xbox. The guy responsible for all this just left. He left so abruptly that they had their CEO step in until someone filled in that role. By a miracle, the Xbox One was released, with many problems of course.
We could have, with the time we've put into this,
Oh,
and the money,
yeah.
been in Rome.
Yep.
What
Check out them details.
What does this mean? Go to my games and
wonder.
apps.
This is bad.
Installation stopped. Okay. Why?
Maybe you should tell us why, Xbox. Oh,
What?
your disc may be dirty.
It's a brand new game!
But was successful enough to not destroy the company. Sony's PlayStation 4 would do extremely well and would sell many successful games, including a sequel to that unpopular zombie game for some reason. Microsoft would later sell a version without the Kinect, effectively killing it. They would eventually create advanced versions of the console like the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X, but if you ask me, they should have made an Xbox One E to complete the set. You could say that Microsoft was treated unfairly and that people weren't looking at the bigger picture here. Most of this stuff became a reality. However, the audience they were pitching to were not board execs. They were gamers. And it's because of those gamers that the Xbox lives on. Microsoft learned a very important lesson here. Don't upset your audience. And with that, the company lives happily. God damn.